And with that in mind, it is now time for
Sick of the Week! Sick of the Week! RFK Jr. isn't the only one with worms on the brain. You guys had a ton of questions about parasite cleanses. So, parasites are basically the new toxins in the sense that it is essentially a meaningless catch-all phrase to blame any number of vague symptoms on and to sell you a cure for, more importantly. Parasites are organisms that depend on a host to survive. And there are many, many kinds of parasites. There's protozoa, which are single-celled organisms that include pathogens like Giardia or Plasmodium, which is the parasite that causes malaria. There are helminths, which are the worms that I think people think about the most when they think about parasites or parasite cleanses. Those include things like hookworms, pinworms, tapeworms, flukes, filaria. There's a bunch of different parasites that impact a bunch of different parts of the body. The idea that you need like a parasite cleanse, but they're not telling you exactly what parasites they're cleansing you of is an immediate red flag for me. If we just focus on helminths, which are like the wormy kind of parasites, that especially even ones, just the ones that impact the gut, because there are helminths that can impact different parts of the body, it's still just really unlikely that you actually have worms. It's not impossible, of course, especially if you travel to countries with less sanitation, but the way many of these parasites are transmitted is by an infected person or animal pooping out eggs into the environment that then get picked up and ingested by a new host to grow into adults in your body, which then lay eggs in your body and you dispel. Tapeworms also come from eating raw or undercooked pork and sometimes beef, but there are fewer than 1,000 cases of tapeworms in the US every year. And that's because in the US, we have good water, hygiene, and food regulations, which mean the likelihood of you eating contaminated food or drinking contaminated water is extremely low. If you do think you have parasites, again, then you need to see a doctor and you need to get an antiparasitic to treat it because different medicines work in different ways. Some of them prevent worms from being able to absorb glucose, so they lose energy and die. Some of them cause paralysis in the worm's muscles, causing them to starve and die. There's no evidence to support that the ingredients in these like unregulated supplements that are sold contain anything that does stuff like that or has any impact on worms, even if you did have parasites. So as for what people are showing you when they show you parasite cleanse videos, it could be mucosal lining that they're shedding from irritating their intestines. It could be pieces of undigested food. I have personally seen the products of deworming a child who has ascariasis, which is the kind of parasitic worm that looks like an earthworm, and let me tell you, it is unmistakable what is happening after that. In short, buying home remedies for parasites is only going to cleanse you of your disposable income. So, parasite busting is this week's Sick of the Week.